Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, Hot Mic Ready to Rock and Roll. Don't forget, of course, tomorrow night we've got our debut of Bison men's basketball coverage for the season. North Dakota State will host Minnesota State University Moorhead. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock on WDAY Extra. We'll be live at the Shack during our newscast at 6 o'clock to get you ready for the Bison and the Dragons. And it's our pleasure to welcome back to our show MSUM third-year head men's basketball coach Tim Bergstraser joins us. I believe the last time you were on, you broke the news of the Bison and Dragons are going to play an exhibition game, and now it's here, man. Does it feel like it's time to play basketball?
A little bit, not fully, because we don't usually play until very end of October, early November. But yeah, it's going into this week is like, oh, we got to finally prep for our first opponent here. So I don't think it'll make a difference anyway. Like if we waited till the end of October, we're still gonna have things we're gonna have to work on. So, but it's definitely finally here, and I mean we're very excited. It's just to get that preparation is always fun. You're right on the brink of getting your season tipped off.
I'm too close to this, so I'll ask you, for the people you talk to when you're out and about, are people genuinely excited on that side of the river for tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, anybody you run into, even if I go to, like, Hornbachers or wherever, I mean, you run into someone, they're just saying good luck, and, I mean, they're all excited, no one you never met. So it's a good vibe. It's a great energy, and, just to have that excitement for just basketball, and obviously if it's directed at your program. So, it's good to be around that kind of stuff because, I mean, as they should be. I mean, I don't know why anybody wouldn't be excited for this kind of game, and just the fact that basketball season's right around the corner, too.
You play exhibition games to get ready, but does it feel like this is a different knowing the opponent tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie about it. And it's when you're going up against NDSU, is a very good basketball team, great winning tradition. That obviously has that effect. But even just for us, it's a great opportunity just exhibition wise, because I mean, anybody that does an exhibition, they always try to schedule it as hard as they can. Personally, I don't think you try to set up any cakewalks. That's not going to prepare you for your schedule.
Yeah.
So for us, and just like a progression standpoint as a program, it's going to be awesome. They're going to do the same. We're going to do the same. We're going to go in there and try to win the basketball game, as any competitor should. And after the game, and even during the game, there's going to be plenty of things that they're going to expose us on. And that's the point of why we do those things. Now, hopefully it's not too many things on that list that I'm trying to make adjustments on. But yeah, it's a big deal. I'm just happy for Fargo Moorhead area. I know our guys are excited, and just to play a very good basketball team. I mean, any competitor, should be jacked up to play in something like this.
The Bison have probably more new guys than you do. So when you get a scouting report, like, it's hard to judge off when you watch them last year because they are completely different what you're going to see tomorrow night.
Yeah, and that's always those tricky things with exhibitions, or even just like your first couple games of the regular season. Because they're a fresh team, and I think if they're looking at our scout, yeah, we have a handful of new faces, but I think they got a good understanding of the returners and veterans that we have.
Right.
But that's just more of, hopefully we can rely on what we do for the most part and make those minor adjustments throughout the game when necessary. But they got a handful of very good transfers, and they're going to be able to space the floor out and shoot the three extremely well. I mean, I know Rich has always tried to play like that as well, and it ain't no secret they love to punch it inside. Obviously, I respect that as a post player myself, but yeah, it'll be adjustment on the fly, and just be prepared for whatever they throw at us.
You do know one of their transfers really well, in Jackson Money. For people that haven't seen him in the last couple of years, how has he developed his game from what you saw when he was down at Northern?
Oh, that's been incredible. And just for the young man, we knew him out of high school, of course. He's right across the street from us. And, we to see his progression and to where he's at now, you're just happy for a young man to have those experiences and do what he's done. And he's obviously put in the work, and God bless him with the few inches as well. That definitely helps. So with the shooting ability that he has, how skilled he is off the bounce, he's a three-way scorer. 3-level scorer. So that obviously provides a lot of problems for any scout. But, he's unfortunately, he's had his way with the Dragons when he was in the league. So hopefully now that he's out the league, maybe it'll be a little different. Time will tell. But yeah, he's an extremely talented player. I'm happy he's out the league now. I'll definitely say that. But yeah, he's an extremely talented player. I think he's gonna be very good in the Summit League. There ain't no question about that.
I don't know if I asked you this last time, so I apologize on this, but is there any solace on how your season ended, knowing you lost to the eventual national champs?
Yeah, of course. You're a little bitter no matter what you say. You always want to go as far as you can, but when you lose to a team like that, even when I told Matt, like when we shook hands after the game, it was just like, obviously they beat the crap out of us. I'm like, hey, like you got a national championship type team, man. There ain't no doubt about that. So go and take, go represent the league.
Yeah.
And it's for him to go and make that happen. I mean, that's amazing. And then I think anybody, obviously we got our butts whooped in that game. We didn't play great, but I think we can compete with them. And I think there's that little piece here. Things like maybe we're not that far off. I'm not saying we're going to go win a natty, but you think like, all right, maybe we're not far off from being just a very good basketball team. So you try to take what you can from it. And obviously that's not the way we wanted to end it. But when you lose to a national championship, you could take that little piece of it.
Tell me about your club for this year, the mix of guys you have back. You have some outstanding players back. You've obviously got some new talent with transfers and freshmen. How is this group blended so far in your estimation?
It's been amazing. You could tell, like, even just from the first week when we weren't even doing anything with them, we kind of let them get that first week just to get acclimated and comfortable with each other. And they were doing open gyms and playing. And you could tell they were very close. I mean, there wasn't any clicks or nothing like that. So, I mean, as a coach, that's amazing to see. That's what you really want to build your program on. And then, hopefully you can win some games with that. And it makes it even that much more rewarding. But just to see everybody fit in so nice, that's been great. They're extremely coachable on the floor. I mean, they're very competitive, and they bought into their roles for what it is right now. Obviously, that stuff's going to change. But just like looking at the standing of a program as a coach, I mean, I want to say we're proud of it, and I'm not saying we're going to win X amount of games, but yeah. I think it definitely gives us an opportunity to compete in guys that we could put on the floor that we're going to trust. So I think they bring a good size element to the game. Definitely athletic, a good amount of skill, and we're still trying to put the piece together here. We don't have it all figured out. And again, that's another reason why we're doing this exhibition game. And, we got 2 tough ones after that as well. So, I don't want to say we have time, but, we got a good less than a month here to figure things out as we can.
The backstory on Jameer Price coming back, what can you tell us on how those conversations went? And was the door always left open, or did you have to have a conversation with your team on that?
Well, when he initially reached out to me, it's he was open on saying he thought he made a mistake, and initially me as like I needed to think about it just as like a team standpoint,
right.
Like is there going to be any problems bringing him back? But then even just like talking to Spencer, my associate head coach, like I mean he never gave us any problems off the court. He was an amazing competitor for us. He's a first team all-league player, newcomer of the year, great in the classroom. So it's just like you kind of have to, and that's just the portal in general. And this will probably happen again to us. I hope not too much, but it's just like, in a way, you got to be numb to the portal. And in a way, you kind of got to put your pride to the side. Now, if it makes sense, yeah, you do it. But for a guy like Jameer, who's an incredible human being, and I mean, he loves basketball, he's a very coachable young man, it just made sense. And us as coaches, we have to form a team together and we have to try to bring in as much talent as we can. And obviously, he's a good basketball player. So, you put a little bit of that pride to the side and you just bring him back. And we haven't missed a beat with that. I mean, nothing's really changed since he's been back.
Tim, is that more common than I know or people know about, that guy kid may want to go, finds out there's nothing there and want to come back? Is that more frequent than maybe we're aware of?
I don't think as much, to be honest. It definitely is a smaller percentage, in my opinion. I just think it'd be a higher percentage of coaches being blindsided. Like maybe they feel like the young man was comfortable with where they were at. And sometimes there's those neutral conversations within transfers where it's like, hey, maybe it makes sense. I mean, I'll say with Jakir Sanchez, who we would love to have him still here, and he still wanted to be here too, but he had some family matters that he needed to attend to back in New York, and now he's at Wagner D1. So that was one that just we had to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I talking to Spencer as well. I just told him, I was like, hey man, like, this, we don't love the landscape. We don't love that this stuff happens, but hey, like we got to deal with it. And I'm okay with that. I mean, we love recruiting. We'll hit the portal just as hard as anybody else, but it's whether you like it or not, you gotta roll with it. So
knowing as well what the Northern Sun brings, that level of talent, you mentioned Mankato, you guys are in there, that it's not like you're getting high level guys. How much is that something that is appealing as well, the league you play in, that you're able to get some transfers that maybe other leagues can't because you play in the Northern Sun?
Yeah, well, there's a large amount of them out there.
Yeah.
And you just got to try to find those ones that understand how stinking good our level is.
Right.
And that's a battle within itself. But I mean, we definitely sell that. I mean, we sell the NSIC very hard to these young men that are looking for a new home, and hopefully and you always tell them like you won't know until you play in it, but you just got to trust my word here and look at the numbers. Like this is basically D1 type basketball, and if you look into the league right now going into this year, I don't know what the actual number is, but just like from what I've seen come in, I think this is the most transfers that have come into the league going into this year.
Mm.
So everybody, we're looking at the preseason rankings. It's like, who the heck knows what anybody's going to be because there's so many new faces. And with transfers, they might average 1 point a game at their last school, and they could come to the NSIC and average 15, 17 points a game. So with transfers, you just never know, man, until they're on your campus.
For the guys you have back, like a guy like Logan Kinsey, how much of a glue guy is he for you to have him back on your roster after the dynamite year he had last year?
Oh, I love Logan. I mean, I recruited him personally extremely hard out of high school. I got very good connections to him, and he's another one of those guys that when you're coaching him up, when you're talking to me, like he's looking through your soul and listening to everything you have to say, and he'll do whatever you say. So you got to watch what you say to him because if you get a little too technical, he'll do exactly that. But to see his progression from his true freshman year to where he is now, I mean, it's been very fun, and that's who we thought he was going to be. And I've just tried to keep pressing that confidence on him that like I need you to be that dude. Like I want you to be aggressive. I want you thinking that you're one of the best players on the floor, whether you are or not. But I think he's extremely talented. He's put on some great weight. He's probably put on 15 plus pounds in this offseason. His development, just ball handling and shooting. I mean, so I'm very curious to see how he's gonna explode this year. I'd anticipate he does a little bit better than this last year. But he's been a privilege to coach because he just does so many things for you. And he's not very flashy about it by any means either.
Got to ask, there's going to be a familiar face for Bison fans tomorrow night, and Sam Hostreiter, who transferred over. How has his transition gone, and will we see him on the floor tomorrow night?
Yeah, you'll definitely see Sam on the floor, and he's been great. I mean, just since day one, you could tell he just fit in right away. Our guys loved him, and he's another same thing as Logan. Like when you're coaching him, like if I'm yelling at him from across the court, he'll run across the court to meet me like face to face and be like, all right, what do you got to tell me? So he's a very, very coachable young man. And like we were talking a bit off air, I mean, he's still figuring us as a system out, and how we like to do things. And he's definitely picking up on things. And I'm trying to be patient with him as well, just like our other transfers. But I think he has a chance to be a very, very good player in our team and in this level. And, once he really clicks, in my opinion, I think he's going to be a dangerous player. But he's good. We wanted some really good size coming into this offseason with recruiting, and he's definitely a good 6'7". He's a great athlete, moves very well, very good shooter, handles the ball pretty well. So he could do a little bit of everything. And I think that's what anybody's going to look for in a player.
I look at your schedule, and I know you always do this. You always want to play some top teams, but your non-conference, is this even harder than normal, or is this like, all right, we got to find out how good we are?
Yeah, we just got to find out how good we are, and we're not gonna. And I love that my AD won't allow me to schedule any NAIs or D3s because, I like to think I kind of have that Dom Izzo approach. And I mean, he's not afraid to play anybody.
True.
And it's gonna show where you are as a team. And especially it's going to prepare us for the NSIC. And I think that's a very good reason for those non-conference games. But yeah, if you look at it, the last 2 years, we've been in the top 5 for the toughest D2 schedules. And I think we'll be right there again this year. And so yeah, we can't mess around and then we have a brief conversation of like, you can't let any games go. Like the one day you don't show up, I mean, you get caught. Even if you do show up and play great, sometimes you still lose. So it'll definitely prepare us. It's gonna leave coach with some sleepless nights, but as a competitor, I'm looking forward to it.
You kind of shake your head last year, obviously knowing what ended up happening with Mankato winning it. You guys were ranked number 1. I know it was brief, but you got to number 1, and that's not where you want to be in January. You want to be there, I know, at the end of March, but it's attainable. It happened in Moorhead. Like, we can do this.
Yeah, and I still shake my head at it because it's crazy to ever think that actually happened, but it just goes to show, like, I just think we really just focused on where we were at the moment. We don't really worry about next weekend. We're not worried about our non-conference games right now. I know how cliche it is, and I know they might get annoyed at me saying it, but I literally worry about every day, one day at a time, one practice at a time. And, thankfully we had guys that definitely bought into that. And, if we win as many games we did in a row again, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
But I know how competition goes, and that's why we're going to prepare the right way, what we believe is the right way. And we'll see what the scoreboard shows at the end of those games. I mean, that's the only way we can approach it, respecting the basketball game, because it's a very unpredictable one. And just basketball, sometimes you get smoked without even being ready for it.
Last thing before I let you go, are you excited, nervous, a little bit of both for tomorrow night? What do you think the emotions will be before tip-off tomorrow? It's an exhibition game, I know. You got bigger games, but what do you think the emotions will be for tomorrow night?
Well, I'm excited. Like, there ain't no ever stressing me when it comes to competition, man. I don't care who we're playing. I'm just that type of guy, man. We could go play. I know Mankato's playing Kentucky. I'm still gonna think some way I could find a way to beat them, even though we know how stuff goes. But it's I'm just excited for the opportunity. We got so much family and friends coming.
Awesome.
I know, like, just so many people from the university there, just students as well with fans. So it's just as a guy that is obsessed with coaching and just these opportunities, like, I'm just going to embrace every moment of it and just have as much fun as possible.
Yeah, I'll give you a hard time about that. You got the Bison, fine, but you couldn't go to Rupp Arena? I mean, how did Morgenthaler get that? You guys couldn't get that one?
I don't know. He's got those connections, man. He's put his time in, so I guess I need to put a little more time to this coaching gig here. But, yeah, maybe I'll talk to Matt here when we play him. Just let me get Pope's number, and we can reach out to him, see if we can make that happen.
Okay, so we got Lockway on next. Have you seen his jump shot and vice versa? When's the last time you played football? What position did you play in football?
Lockway's jump shot?
Yeah, have you seen that?
I've never seen it, but I'm sure it's pure. I could imagine that. He's got the good flick, got the good form. I would imagine that. But,
and what about you on the gridiron? What position did you play?
Oh man, I played left tackle, baby. I love a good down block when they don't see it coming. Just get a good hit there.
Good pancake.
Played a little bit of D end as well back in St. Cloud Apollo days.
I would not want to have to block you whatsoever. I can't even imagine you on the football field, man. That'd be a lot of coming at me.
Yeah, that was fun. I miss the good old days of hitting people. Trust me, football's a fun sport. That's for dang sure.
Can't do that in hoops. They call everything nowadays.
Yeah, well, there's a flopping aspect nowadays too, unfortunately. So the game's changed.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for making time. I'll see you tomorrow night at the Shack, okay?
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Tim Bergstraser joining us, MSU men's basketball head coach. Dragons and the Bison coming up tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. See it live right here on WDAY Extra. We'll take a break. We'll get caught up on a couple of emails. Mentioned Steve Lockway coming up as well. We'll talk some Dragon football at about 10:35. We're back on Hot Mic right after this.